Hey guys, do you want to lead an optimal life, an excellent life, a flourishing life that's not only deeply meaningful to you, but to everyone else around you? If you do, then what you're actually looking for is a life of virtue. Now, I'm not talking about being nice. God save us from more nice guys and nice gals as well. Virtue is the optimization of some aspect of your personality. Virtue is closely tied to excellence, which the Greeks called archetypes. I'm talking about living an excellent life here. If we do this well, it leads to flourishing, which the ancient Greeks called eudaimonia or eudaimonia. This is flourishing not only for yourself, but for everybody around you as well. Little footnote here. When the authors of the Declaration of Independence were writing about how they wanted Americans to have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, okay, that pursuit of happiness was not immediate hedonic pleasure that they were talking about. They were talking about human flourishing. They wanted the American colonists to be free to live lives that were ultimately fulfilling and optimal for themselves. Okay? That's what they were about. So, into footnote. What does virtue look like? Virtue means optimizing the zealous and enthusiastic part of yourself. This is what we call courage. It means optimizing the desiring part of yourself. This is called restraint or moderation. It's optimizing the rational part of you. This is what we call prudence or practical wisdom. And then for our relationships with everybody else, there's justice. So the four natural virtues are courage, restraint, prudence, and justice. That's what you need to have if you want an excellent, optimal, flourishing life. Okay? You might say, come on, this is all ancient history, it's old philosophy. And you'd be right. It is. Plato talks about the four natural virtues in his Phaedrus and in his Republic. Aristotle talks about them in the Nicomachean Ethics, and you can find them in all of your favorite Stoic philosophers. That's true. But here's something maybe you didn't know. The four natural virtues were taken up wholesale and complete and become parts of the Christian tradition. The ancient church did that. And so St. Ambrose of Milan is the first one to call these the four cardinal virtues. St. Augustine talks about them extensively in his Confessions. St. John of Damascus in the East says that courage, moderation, prudence, and justice are the foundation upon which every other virtue is built, including faith, hope, and love. So for those of you who are Christians, you need to have the natural virtues before you can have the supernatural virtues on top of them. Okay? And then, of course, Thomas Aquinas writes about them very eloquently in his Summa Theologiae in the 13th century. And so because of this, not only the ancient philosophical tradition, but because they were taken up in the Christian tradition, the four natural virtues have become an integral part of Western culture and civilization. Okay? They've been there from the very beginning, and they persist to this very day. And you might ask, so why should you care about that? Because, as I said, the four natural virtues are alive and well today, and they form an unspoken foundational assumption for a lot of personal development work. Here, let me take a few examples, and I'll show you that this is the case. All right? Let's start with a great classic in men's work, Robert Moore's book, King, Magician, Warrior, and Lover. All right? What we find is that the four principal archetypes of the mature masculine, king, magician, warrior, and lover, line up exactly with the four natural virtues as I've described them here already. Okay? What Robert Moore did, he just made a modern Jungian psychological adaptation of them, repackaged them for a different audience today, and it works beautifully. So again, this is a classic in men's work. If you've not read it, I commend it to you. All right? Let's look further. Ryan Michler built his Order of Man around the idea that men had three fundamental roles to fulfill. They needed to protect, preside, and provide. He left out procreate, but that's okay. But again, you see, they line up exactly with the four classical virtues. Bedros Keuilian, quoting the former Navy SEAL Ray Kashkar, describes four F-bombs, okay, which are family, fitness, finance, and faith. And according to them, if you practice those 4 things well, it results in fulfillment. Or what I would say, it results in your life flourishing. Okay? Isn't this fun? This is fun. And then finally, for another example, Whalen, in his book, How to Make Shit Happen, talks about the core 4. And for him, they are power, passion, purpose, and production. And again, look how clearly they line up with the 4 classical virtues. So each one of these men has restated the 4 virtues in a way that makes sense today. And they probably didn't even know that they were doing it. That's why you have me to point these things out for you. Okay? Now, if all of these men, along with the great fathers of the Christian tradition, and all of the best of the ancient philosophers, all bear witness to the importance of these 4 virtues for leading an excellent life, do you really think that you can have an optimal life without them? Okay? So seriously, take some time and check these guys out. Robert Moore, Ryan Mickler, Bedros Keuilian, Ray Kashkar, Whalen. You can learn a lot from them and from others like them as well. Oh, and check out the old guys too, Plato and Aristotle and all of the rest. And while you're at it, if you have the time, check me out too, because I might learn you something now and again as well. Because I want to help you get your balls back, your mind back, and your heart back so that you can have the life and relationships that you want. All right? So thanks for watching. Like the video if you would, leave a comment down below, follow me on social media, subscribe to my webpage, that's a big one, so that I can continue to provide you with valuable content and help you and other men like you lead their best lives. Thanks again, guys. Appreciate it.